Hello, everyone, and welcome to Friday, and welcome to my early Christmas present. I got an Apple Watch. This is something that Mallory has wanted to get me for a while.
Almost as long as I've had mine.
Yeah, and I have never been super gung-ho about the Apple Watch until only probably in the last few months. To be honest, it's actually been since we've lived in Raleigh, I think.
Yeah.
There's been an increasing, over the past maybe year or two, there's been an increasing interest in it. And then that interest in the past few months has went like this and went up a lot. Anyone that's watched my takes on Apple events over the past few years has probably heard me talk about the watch and how it is an interesting product, but it's not for me. And that's because the watch has always been very geared toward fitness. And, when the watch came out, which was many years ago, I was like, well, I'm not a fitness guy. I'm not a fitness person. And as I've gotten older, the realization sets in that truly we are all a fitness person because you have to do some level of exercise, especially as you get older. And I'm realizing that more in my 30s than I did in my 20s, and maybe that's one of the reasons the watch has become a little more appealing. But Mal wanted to get this for me for Christmas, so we did it, and here it is. So I'm gonna open this up and then also talk a little bit about. Look at it. Oh, cute. I'll talk a little bit about what I expect to do with the watch. So I got this is the 8, so this is the new one. It's black. This one's, it's the slightly bigger. Midnight. Space gray. It's the black one. That was my choice. And, between the small one and the big one, I was like, well, I would rather have more screen real estate, so I got the big one. And then as for a strap, I got this one because I wanted a dark strap also. All of the electronic stuff that I use is black, and I prefer to have black stuff. Even whenever I was so I actually wore a watch for most of my life, even from the time I was in elementary school. So it's been a while since I've worn one. But I've spent more of my life wearing a watch than not wearing a watch, so it'll be interesting to go back to this. This is very Apple-centric, right? You just pull tabs. You pull a few tabs, and then it's a little baby. It's a little tiny baby. Does it come to life when you hit it? Well, it's going to want to pair to that phone, which actually that leads into this a little bit. So, like I said, over the past few years, I've gained a little more interest in this. And one of the reasons is that I've been shooting most of the vlogs on the phone. That is something that it's kind of funny because if you follow the channel, if you follow the vlog from the early beginnings, it actually started very small. And then the cameras gradually grew bigger and bigger, and then they reset. Because at the beginning of the vlog, I was using the Flip, which is a little tiny thing. And then I got a point-and-shoot camera. It was the Canon 300HS ELPH. And then we moved did we go from that to then we went to the Lumix, which was a 1-inch sensor camera. We did that. We had 2 of the Panasonic Lumixes, which was our first foray into 4K. And then we went from 1-inch sensor to an APS-C sensor, and I started using the A6400. And then finally, in what in hindsight was probably an insane thing to do, the FX3 as a vlog camera. Full frame camera is great. It looks great. It is huge. And then we came full circle and ended up starting to use the phone. But in my defense, for the longest time, a phone could not shoot the vlog. It was not good enough, and now it is. So one of the downsides to using a phone, welcome back, buddy. One of the downsides to using the phone is that the better cameras for the phone are on the back. So whenever I film myself, I actually can't see what I'm filming. And that's the way it's been I've shot most of the vlog in the past year on the phone. So anytime I film anything, I actually can't see what I'm doing. So if I'm doing a good job, thanks. I'm doing my best. But one of the cool things about the watch is that you can use it as a camera remote. And there are times when it would be beneficial for me to be able to see what it is I'm doing. And I like that aspect of it. So that was the first thing where I was like, well, now that I'm using the phone for everything, that would be kind of cool to be able to at least check my framing and check composition from time to time. So I liked that. And then the other thing is with my sleep having been very, very up and down, there's so much sleep information that you can gain. And Mal has had a watch for a few years now and is always talking about the sleep information. And I'm like, that would be kind of interesting to have. And then increasingly, as I said, into my 30s, fitness is going to become probably more of a thing because I need to move my body more than I did in my 20s. But really, it's the gamification of the whole experience. And since living in Raleigh, most of our friends use iOS devices, and most of our friends actually in Raleigh have Apple Watches. And when you have an Apple Watch and you have added each other on the watch, it alerts you of like whenever people are doing things like exercise, and there can be little competitions, which is something I just learned like yesterday. Mal was explaining to me how the competition things worked. Like live on Breakfast Stream, I learned about it and I was like, oh, that's neat. So yeah, after all of that, I was like, okay, I'll do it. I'll get an Apple Watch. So I'm excited to try this and to see, how I use it. I think it'll be helpful for some of the camera stuff. I'm hoping that it'll make me a little bit more active, which is something I think that I need to be. And I look forward to, trying this for the next little bit and then talking about it on the vlog at some point in the future, because I suspect that there's probably a lot of people that are in my same shoes where they're like, yeah, that's a cool product. Customer satisfaction on the Apple Watch is really, really high. It just came down to like, I'm not a fitness person. And we'll see if this, makes some sort of, change in my life. One of the things that really pushed me to do this, and Apple was probably genius for this, but they added fitness to the phone in iOS 16. So as of the last major update, I've been getting all of the fitness stuff on my phone. So when Josh goes out for a walk, it tells me. And when Haley goes out for a walk, it tells me. And, it's one of those things that you're constantly getting this information and you're like, I should move. That would be nice. I should do that. And now I can more fully participate by owning one of these things. So I'm going to try. And Thomas is the worst one, because Thomas has been actually bugging me to get an Apple Watch for well over a year, if not two. And it's just because he really wants to like compete with me. And, we'll be able to do that. Not this moment, because I'm still recovering from being sick, but at some point in the near future. So anyway, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate this, Mal.
You're welcome.
Thank you. This is quite a Christmas present, and I am hopeful that this will encourage me to get a little more movement in my life.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, and, maybe they'll inspire us to do some things together too.
Yeah.
You've moved more since owning it, and then also it's been better for you since you've had your surgery.
Yeah, it has.
You've gotten more use out of it, so maybe we'll be able to do some things together. And actually, you get 3 months of Fitness Plus where you can like do stuff on the television. So maybe we'll do some workouts or something since we have that. Okay, I'm done. Thanks for watching. Let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?